Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, I am going to teach you something that will make you 10x productive when it comes to writing your HTML document. So if you are a beginner who is just starting out in web development or who has just finished some HTML courses online, then this video is right for you, because in this video I'm going to show you some tricks that will actually make you kind of like more productive, in the sense that you will be able to write your HTML tags much faster as compared to other people, those who do not know this particular approach. Okay, and you must have seen this online, that many people use this particular approach but they do not know. Okay, and there is something that we all use which is part of this particular thing. So you must be familiar with something called exclamation mark. Okay, so we use this particular this particular approach every time, just to create the initial formatting, and this is something you must have seen in your courses, and this is kind of like most used notation in this particular approach. So why is VS Code able to generate this initial document structure? So it is not something that's part of HTML. It is something that VS Code gives you. And why VS Code is able to do this is because it is using a plugin called Emmet, and this plugin is pre-installed in VS Code, and you are able to use this particular thing. Okay, if you are using another text editor, you won't be able to use this particular notation. Okay, so let me show you. So let's minimize this, and let me kind of like expand this. So this is another text editor that I have, and it is Z. Okay, so I use this just for the Python projects, but let me show you kind of like, let me create a document, and in this particular document, if I'm using this particular exclamation marks, this is not going to give me any kind of doc type. So it's not going to give me any formatting. Why? It's because in this particular text editor I'm not using this particular plugin, this Emmet plugin, and that's why I'm not able to use doc type here, this particular this thing. So in order to use that, I'll have to install extension from here, which is something that I do not have in this particular text editor. But still, the whole idea is that if your text editor support that plugin, you will be able to use Emmet notation. So you will be able to use this exclamation mark, and you'll be able to write everything. So for the time being, I'm going to close this particular document, and I'll switch back to VS Code. So only this may work only in those text editors where you have the support for Emmet. Okay, so the Emmet plugin is installed. If you want to use Emmet plugin yourself in another text editor, you'll be able to download it from their official website called emmet.io. Okay, so please visit their website if you want to download the plugin, and you do not have to download the plugin if you're already using VS Code editor. Okay, so initial thing that we all are familiar with is this particular exclamation mark, and if you use this, you'll be able to see this particular suggestion here, and it shows Emmet abbreviation. If you click on this particular read more, you'll be able to see that it contains this entire initial formatting of the HTML document. So all you have to do is like click enter, and you'll be able to see this initial formatting. And I'm 100% sure that many people are so used to this particular way of writing, this exclamation mark, that they do not even remember this entire thing. Okay, so if you ask them to write everything from scratch, they may not be able to do so. Okay, but still, so this is not the only thing that we have from the Emmet. So you can do it several times. So you can write it here as well. Okay, so you can do it once again, but I'm not going to do that. Just I wanted to show you that this is just a shortcut. Okay, just the shortcut for the initial formatting. So let's do some formatting. So let's generate the initial formatting of the document, and once we have that, let's say I want to write a paragraph. Okay, so what we do when we are a beginner learning HTML and CSS, what we do, we write paragraph in this way. Okay, and then let's say if I want to add a tag here, so sorry, class name. So here what we do, let's say we say class 1. Okay, now if I want to create another paragraph, we kind of use our own approach. so we kind of like copy paste it. If we have to write a div, we do it this way, and then we write the class name. Okay, so this is something we follow. Okay, and then we have to, if we have to add paragraph, then we follow this particular approach. As you can see, this is kind of not fast, so we have to spend a lot of time writing these tags, and this is kind of like time consuming. So that's where this particular Emmet plugin comes into play. So Emmet kind of helps you become a little bit faster when it comes to writing these tags, because Emmet has some inbuilt inbuilt shortcuts that you can use to generate these tags really fast. So let me show you how we can achieve that. So let's say we have this paragraph and we want to write paragraph. So just like we generated this structure, we can generate paragraph by writing just P, and when you click P, VS Code will automatically show you these particular suggestions. So it says Emmet abbreviation, right? So if you click on this, you'll be able to see the paragraph tag. Now let's say if I'm writing P, okay, after that I can also use enter and it will give me this particular paragraph. But let's see, let's write P and see what happens once we have written P. And if let's say I click space, this is going to remove that suggestion, and if I click backspace, this is again not going to show me the suggestion, right? So initially only VS Code will show you the suggestion. If you want to see the suggestion once again, all you have to do is press Ctrl and space, and this is going to show the suggestions once again, and this is going to give you the initial your paragraph tag. Okay, so this is really important, because what happens whenever you are writing P and let's say you are adding some space to it, automatically it kind of like it ends the Emmet notation here. So whatever abbreviation you are writing here, it kind of like finishes there. So just make sure that whenever you have, let's say a really long Emmet abbreviation and you do not want to rewrite that thing, one way of getting the suggestion is by clicking Ctrl and space. So that way you'll be able to see this particular option. Okay, so just don't forget this, because if you click backspace you won't see the suggestion. So just make sure to use the Ctrl and space. So this is kind of like a trick that you can use. Now let's say I want to generate 3 paragraphs one after another. Okay, so if I want to generate 3 paragraphs one after another, what I can do, I can write P, and then I am just going to use this star symbol, which is kind of like multiplication, and then I want to generate 3 paragraphs, so I'm just going to write 3. So as you can see, it says Emmet abbreviation. Okay, if you click enter, it is going to create 3 tags, 3 paragraph tags. Okay, so this is kind of like, this is how you can generate things one after another. Okay, so let's say you want 5 divs. So I'm simply going to write the tag name, whatever tag name I have, and then I'm going to write div into 3. This is going to give me 3 divs. Okay, so whatever tag you want to generate, just write the tag name and that tag name will be generated. Okay, so this tag name will be automatically generated. And if you want to write multiple tag names one after another, you simply have to use this multiplication symbol, and this is going to give you n numbers of suggestions, whatever like tag names you want, whatever number of tag names you want. So this is like really cool, because right now we are not writing P once again and again. Okay, and it is already doing the work for us. So this is kind of like really interesting. Now let's say I want to write a paragraph within a div. So how I can do that? If you want to write a paragraph within a div, all you have to do is send the paragraph within the div. So let's say first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create div. So this is going to create the div for me, and then if I want to write something within this div, all I have to do is use this greater than, and then I'm going to write P. So see what this does. So this creates the P inside this particular div. So all you have to do is, if you want to write something within something, so let's say if I want another div, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to use this greater than symbol and I'm going to write this div. Okay, and if let's say within this particular div, I want a paragraph. So again, within this div I have a paragraph. So if I'm going to click enter, so this is what happens. So we have the initial main div, then within that div we have this particular div, and we have then paragraph which is inside this inner div. Okay, so just try to read through your whatever formula you are writing. So if you are writing div, just try to read it. So within this div you are creating a paragraph. Within this paragraph you are creating, let's say, another div. Okay, and within this div you are creating another paragraph. So like you have to read it in a way so that you can actually understand what you're doing. So you have to visualize it in your brain, like you are writing this div within this particular thing, and that will give you the structure. Okay, now one thing you should keep in mind that Emmet has Emmet has no way to verify what you are writing. So just try to make sure that whatever you are writing is similar to what you would be doing in HTML. So do not try to write any random tag names. Just try to stick to whatever tag names HTML has, so that you do not end up introducing some kind of bug in your code. Okay, so let's say you want to now add a class name to paragraph. So let's say I have this paragraph and I want to write a class name to it. So how you can do class name? So if you want to add a class name to it, all you have to do is follow the same approach you follow in CSS. So in CSS what we do, we write class name like this. So whatever class I have, okay, so let's say class 1. So I'm going to write the CSS approach here. So this dot and class 1. Okay, so what this is going to do, this is going to give a paragraph with class name of class 1. Okay, so as you can see, we have a paragraph with class of 1. Okay, now let's say I want to use a ID. So for that ID we use this particular selector in CSS. So this is going to give me paragraph with this particular ID. Okay, so just try to use the CSS notation. And if you have, let's say this is paragraph, and if you have some custom attribute that you want to select. Okay, so if let's say this is let's say this is a particular tag, and you want to do some kind of select some create some custom attribute there. So all you have to do is simply write this particular bracket the way you would be doing in CSS, and then here let's say just for the sake of simplicity, what I can do, I can write something like style. You can even write some random words. So that's not something Emmet verifies. That's what I pointed out earlier. So Emmet kind of does not understand that whatever mistake you're doing, it is simply going to generate based on the formula. So just make sure that you are verifying everything. So as you can see, it has generated some attributes here. Okay, and these may not be the attributes available in HTML, but still it will be able to generate you those attributes. So just keep in mind that whenever, let's say, you are generating an attribute, all you have to do is, let's say if I have image, I'm going to write this src, then I'm going to write alt. Okay, so this is going to give me this particular thing. Okay, but you know what, Emmet also is kind of little bit intelligent to know what all attributes are needed in image. So it's also going to give you the same if you are writing just image. Okay, so these are kind of inbuilt, but still if you have to add some custom attribute, use the bracket notation the way you would be doing in CSS. Okay, now let's say I want to write a div, and then after the div, below that particular div, I want to write paragraph. So how I can achieve that? So let's say if I'm writing div, and within this div I want a paragraph, so all I'm going to do is use plus notation, plus symbol. Okay, and this is going to give me a div, and then below this div we have this particular paragraph. Now let's say I have a div, and below this div what I want a paragraph. Okay, and I want 3 paragraphs. So you can do it in this way. So first of all, it will be processed it will create a div, and when you have written this p, what this is going to do, this is going to generate 3 paragraphs. Okay, so I forgot that. Yeah, so as you can see, this div and then p. Okay, so this is generating in that manner. So just use plus if you want something one below another. Okay, so if you want something below something, then you have to use that. So it's kind of whenever you are using greater than symbol, you are going within. If you are using plus, you are going in parallel. Okay, so this is kind of something you can remember. And you know what, let's do one thing. Let's try to add something to the paragraph. So let's say paragraph, we have paragraph and we want to add some text. So let's say I want to write I am a parent. Okay, so if you do it this way, you'll be able to add some text here in the paragraph. Okay, so this is something you can achieve. So whatever paragraph you have, you just have to write this particular notation, and within this particular notation all you have to do is write your paragraph, and this is going to give you that particular output. Okay, so you can generate your text in this manner, and just remember that whenever you are writing it, make sure that you are using paragraph and the text with appropriate tags, so that you do not end up writing something random. Okay, because Emmet does not verify whatever you are writing. Now let's say you want to generate some custom text. So lorem ipsum text you must have seen in many projects. So let's say you want to generate lorem ipsum text. So all you have to do is within this particular paragraph, I want some lorem ipsum text. So I'm going to write this. I'm going to go within this paragraph, and within this paragraph I'm going to write lorem. Okay, so this is going to give me the text. Okay, so this is how you can generate some random text faster. Now let's say I want 50. Let's say 100. Okay, so all you have to do is mention the number. Okay, and then you will get this big. Okay, so this is going to give you lorem ipsum text, some random text of 100 words. Okay, so this is how you can generate. So all you have to use is p, go within it, lorem, and this is going to give you this thing. So yeah, this is how you can generate it. Okay, so let's try to see an example. So let me show you something. So most of the time we need unordered list, and we have to kind of write everything on one after another. So that's where Emmet can actually help you. So let's say we have a div, and within this div we have ul, and within this ul we have list, and we want like 5 lists. Okay, so we have 5 lists. So all you can do is you can write it in this way. So what we are doing, we are div, and within this div we have ul, and within this ul we have list. Okay, so as you can see, it's really fast. We do not have to write anything by hand, and it's really kind of like generates everything in one go. Okay, so this is where Emmet can actually help you speed up your process of writing. Okay, so just try to use wherever you feel like you need it. Otherwise it's okay to completely start from scratch in the way you are used to, but still this is going to make you a little bit more productive. Okay, now let me show you something. So let's say I want a div, and within this div I want another div, okay, which has this another list, and then I want to break out, and then I want to add a button. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. So let's say I want a div, and within this div what I'm going to do, I'm going to add another div, and within this div what I want an unordered list, and this is something I want 4 times. Okay, and then what I want after all this is done, I want a button. Okay, so if I write plus button here, okay, so plus is for the parallel. Like if I write plus button here, it's going to be in parallel with this particular thing. Okay, so it is not going to be outside this particular thing. So how you can keep this button outside this thing? So let me show you what this is going to generate. So this is going to give you this particular thing. So it's keeping this button is going in parallel with this particularly. Okay, but what we want this button here. Okay, so we want this button here. So how we can achieve that? So in order to achieve that, all you have to do is write this div, and within this div what I'm going to write, I'm going to create another div, this li, and I'm going to write it 4 times. Okay, and I can also group them together. Okay, so you can group them, and once you have grouped them together, it will be like treated as a separate thing. And then in parallel what you want a button. Okay, sorry, you want a button. So this is going to give you the exact styling that you are expecting. So this is how you can write it. So you can even group everything together. Okay, so you have to just use the concepts that I told you in a way so that you can achieve whatever design you're expecting. Okay, let's say you have this header, and within this header you have your main, and then you have your footer. Okay, So most of the time these are like in parallel, so you can keep it that way. But still, you know, if let's say this is the thing, you can do it in this manner. Okay, so you have header, then main, then footer. Okay, and let's say you have to structure your entire document, which is something not recommended, but still you can do it. You can write header, and then in header you have your main, and then you have your footer. Okay, so these things will stay in parallel, and but within this main, what I want to write, I want to, let's say I want to group them together first, so that you know, within this main we have a section. Okay, and I want two sections. Okay, even within these two sections you can, you know, go very deep and like generate your custom you know, styling. So if I'm going to do this, it's going to generate the structure I need. Okay, so it is going to generate the header, main, section, section, main. Okay, and okay, so for some reason this footer was not generated here. Okay, so let me, you know, let me go back and do this. So for some reason, you know, footer was not generated because I think my cursor was here. Okay, so that was the reason. Okay, as you can see, we have header, main, and then we have footer. Okay, so yeah, so this is how you can kind of like generate your structure using Emmet, and this is really you know, helpful, because it is going to speed up your entire process of writing tags. And these are the basics you should know. Now let me tell you one thing, like, you know, whenever you're writing input, all you have to do is you have to write this particular colon, and this is going to, you know, show you some things, some suggestions. VS Code is already suggesting you what types of input you want. So if you want button, if you want color, if you want date, time, email, file, whatever you want, you can simply select one of these suggestions, and you can you are good to go. Otherwise you can even write it in this way here, like text. Okay, so it is going to select that, and it is going to give you the custom input, whatever input you want. So you have to combine all the concepts all together so that you can actually achieve whatever you are looking for. Okay, now let me show you something. So let's say in let's say you are creating an order list, and you want to assign them, like, you know, some class 1, class 2, class 3. Okay, so let's say if I have this and I'm going to create 4, and let's say I want each of them to have some different classes. So to add classes, we learned that we are going to use the CSS approach. So here we have the class, so we can write, you know, class name. But if let's say I want to give each of the list like numbered class, so let's say I want class 1, class 2, class 3, so all I can do is write it this way. And what this is going to do, this is going to give me this particular thing. So class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. So as you can see, each list has different ordered. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is kind of useful in some cases, but most of the time in Lee we kind of keep the same class, so no need to, you know, do this. But still, let's say if you're working on some demonstration purpose or something, you can use this approach. Okay, so all we did was this: you lead and class name, then this particular $sign. So $sign is for the numbering part. If you're writing another $sign, then it is going to add padding. Okay, so this is how it's going to show you class 001. Okay, so this is one way of doing that. Okay, now let's say you want to start at certain number. So right now it's starting at 1, but if you want to start at, let's say 4, so this is how you can do that. So once you have this particular thing, okay, let's make sure that my cursor is here, otherwise it will start generating from here only. Okay, so once we have this, you can write it this way. So as you can see, it is now starting at 4, 5, 6, 7. So all you have to do is write at the rate whatever number you want to start with. Okay, now let's say if you want to reverse it, so let's say you want to reverse it. So let's say it was minus, okay, so it was 4, but let's say I want to reverse it. So all you have to do is write -4, and it is going to reverse. Sorry, again my cursor was here, that's why it was not. So once you have done this, it is going to reverse it 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this is how you can kind of like generate the reverse. But still this is not something you'll be using, but it's a good idea to know these things. Okay, and yeah, I think, you know, this particular concept, these are more than sufficient in order to write your HTML document faster as compared to what you are used to. Okay, because this is actually going to save a lot of time. Now Emmet is not only used in HTML, it is also useful in XML and CSS, everything. But I think you don't need to use Emmet in CSS, because VS Code suggestions are more than sufficient to help you become more productive, because there are obviously shortcuts, but I think Emmet is mostly helpful in HTML, because creating tags can be a lot of it's time wasting, and you have to kind of spend a lot of time writing class names and everything. So that's something it simplifies, and it helps you become a little bit more productive. So stick to the basics whenever you are writing something. Just try to organize everything in your mind, how I'm going to generate my structure, and then based on that structure you can write a formula. Okay, so you have to design according to your own rule. Okay, so if I have, let's say, div, and within this div, let's say I want to create another div, and we have this in parallel. Okay, and within this div I have this list. Okay, so within this div we have this ul, and then within this ul we have this li into 4. Okay, and then we have this button. So you have to imagine how you want to structure everything, and the way you have imagined everything in your mind, that is something you can apply in the formula, and it will give you the entire structure. So let me revise everything once again so that you do not forget. Okay, so whatever tag you want to generate, just write the tag name and it will generate it. Okay, so this is P. Okay, this is going to generate whatever tag you want to do. Okay, if you want to write class name, so you can simply use the CSS approach, and ID here it can be your attribute names. And also if you want text, you can do it in this way, whatever text you want to do. And if you want to generate some lorem ipsum text, you can simply write it this way, lorem, and this is going to generate that for you. Okay, and if you want to nest, you have to simply use this particular greater than symbol, and whatever nesting you want to do, you can achieve that. If you want to produce in parallel, you have to use the plus symbol. Okay, so that way you'll be able to generate your entire thing. So yeah, this was just more than sufficient tutorial if you are kind of using it in your project, because you don't need to know more than this. Feel free to read the documentation, and in that documentation you will learn a lot of things. You can even customize Emmet according to your own need, and just try to use it, and it's really easy to learn because it's going to speed up your entire process. So please make sure to subscribe to this channel if you found this particular tutorial helpful, because in future I'll be uploading more such tutorials that will be beginner friendly and interesting at the same time. Thanks for watching this video. I hope this was helpful to you, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thanks again.